Today, we are fishing thick, nasty cover, looking for that big mid-summertime bite.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, another one. Haha. What is going on, guys? Welcome back. We are at a beautiful local pond to me because there's a couple things. First, let me start off by saying my boat is in the shop right now, so I cannot get on the lake and fish. So we are going to make do with what we have, and that is of course bank fishing and kayak fishing. And I said, you know what, it's been a hot second since I've came out, filmed the pond video for you guys. So today we are going to try, even though it is scorching hot out, it is 91 degrees today, and we are going to be throwing top water and a couple Texas rigs. And that brings me to my second point. We are throwing those because I was a complete droid and left all my tackle in the boat when we sent it to the shop. So I am really fishing with what we have today, and that being a topwater mouse tied on my frogging rod and stuff, and a couple of other little Texas rigs and assorted little baits I found laying around the garage, and of course in my brother's tackle bag. So it is going to be a challenge, especially with how hot it is, but this pond is pretty good and I believe that we can do it. Now we're going to go ahead and start fishing because you guys can see it is pretty calm but just hot. So we're gonna go ahead and see what hogs we can pull out of this body of water today. There we go. There we go. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of weeds. Oh, there's no way he's gonna stay on. There's no way he's still on, right? Holy crap. It's like Florida. Holy criminy. Look at this freaking bass. Well, not exactly the way I was expecting to start the day, but we will take it. You guys can see absolutely covered in gunk. Gosh, these hooks are so tough. Covered in gunk, and for about a, I don't know, 12-inch fish. Ready, we're gonna have to give him a big toss. All right, good, he made it in. But look at the stuff that this is coming through. That is not that, I mean, that is very thick stuff right there, guys. That is like, the water's supposed to be 2 or 3 foot deep right there, and it is absolutely covered in that little grass and gunk stuff. You guys can see the bank is just covered in weeds. So this pond is not the easiest to fish by any means. It does have giants in there, and you know, it's a good way to get the first fish on the board. We're gonna walk, like, continuing around. We're gonna continue walking along this little trail right here, obviously fish the banks where we can. But here's a little bit of a better look at this stuff. Like, look at that. That is some thick, gross stuff. That fish came up, popped it, and we got on the board with our first one. So hopefully we can get a couple more like that. It is extremely hot, like I said, so I will be shocked if the topwater bite is too good for that long. I'm out here as early as I can in the morning trying to get on it, and then we'll go ahead and switch up to probably like a Texas rig something and see if we can get any more hungry fish. Just making as long a cast out there as we can. Like, that one landed kind of right on a weed patch, and we're about to drag it through some clear water where there's no weeds on the surface. So right here is kind of where I would expect to get hit, and then in about 15-ish foot we're going to drag it right along another weed ledge, which could be another possible ambush point. I'm sorry if that fountain is a little loud, but if these fountains were not on, these fish would probably die very easily with no to low water filtration. We're gonna keep on pounding along these little weed lines, and then once we get to that other side of the lake, or pond I should say, it is a lot, you know, less weedy. The water's a lot deeper, so I think that's kind of where the Texas rig or jig is going to come into play. All right, finally a spot with some shade. Maybe this is all it's gonna take to get another topwater bite. Somewhere where the bank's a little bit shaded. I mean, this looks pretty good to me. It's normally pretty shallow over here. You guys can see there's obviously a ton of sticks popping out of the water. The shade with those trees right there. Now we just gotta hope that there is something willing to eat this mouse. We're about halfway done with this lap. So like I said, we're going to, once we finish this lap, we're gonna head back to the truck. I'm gonna throw on a creature bait or probably like a little craw. And then we're going to make another lap or two. And then by then it's probably gonna already be like noon. So it's gonna be oh, I swear that looked like something. It's gonna be way too hot to throw anything topwater related. So we'll probably just have to try and catch what we can on that craw. But so far today the fishing is not easy. I mean, I kind of expected that. I feel like that's pretty, you know, universal when it comes to pond fishing in July. It's just really freaking tough, and you gotta really work hard. Like, it also would be a lot easier if I had my tackle box, I'll tell you that, or all my baits that I'd like. Oh, that was so sick. Oh my gosh. Absolute dink. But there is officially fish number 2. Just the tiniest little peck right as we got into the lily pad or little moss weeds things, and he came up and got that. But there we go. You guys saw I just missed a fish about 200 feet to the left. Came over here to the next little open area, made a cast, and we've got another one in the board. I can tell you, this is absolutely brutal. I mean, I don't do too much pond fishing, especially in the summer. A, because there's not much around, like many ponds around me, and B, just because I know how hard it can be. But this is the first time like I've officially fished a pond this summer, and it's brutal, especially something like, you know, right in front of me where you have a ton of weeds and all this like just grass junk where you can't throw, you know, crankbait or jerkbait or chatterbait, anything like that. You're pretty limited to topwater, and then like, you know, maybe like a Texas rig or something. And like I said, I don't have my tackle box or all my tackle because it's in the boat, which is getting worked on. So right now I'm really just trying to make do with what I had, you know, sitting in the garage and already tied up. Also looted my brother's tackle stuff, so shout out you, Cooper, if you're watching. But feels good to get the second one in the boat, or on the bank I should say. Right there's my truck. We got about, I don't know, maybe 50-ish yards left to cover, and then we're gonna go ahead and switch on up to that like craw creature bait type thing. Oh, another one right in the weeds. Oh, okay, so maybe the play is gonna be getting them in the weeds. That is the second fish that came right in those little mat pads. Another little guy, but man, that was a sickie. Missed it, came back, popped it again. A good old black mouse. All right, you guys, so that was lap 1 around the pond. As you guys can see, we are back at the car, completed the whole entire lap, and honestly, I don't really know if that went better or worse than I expected. I was surprised that we caught fish on the mouse, but I didn't think they would be that small. Now, I kind of thought we were gonna get a one big one type thing, but it is now, it's like noon and it is 90 degrees, so 90, that's not 90 field temp, that's actual temp. So 90 degrees in a tiny pond in topwater in the middle of the day, honestly is a pretty good result. We got the rod right here. We're about to tie up the Texas rig.
and make a lap or two around the pond with that. I saw a ton of fish just sitting right in the shallows, a couple right by the running water pits, which makes sense, try and get that cooler water in there. But we're basically just gonna be trying to flip to those, and then over there where you guys saw that cloud, like that shade with the trees, we're gonna be focusing a lot over there and really trying to get a finesse bite, you know, something maybe they haven't seen yet this year, and for those that are not interested in the top water. But we are gonna go ahead, tie up, and I'll catch you guys back out there.
All right, guys, we got the net bait, some gambler baits, but I think what we're gonna start with are the good old Guggen bandito bugs. I know they're Guggen, but these things actually do catch a lot of fish. So we're gonna go ahead, tie on one of these guys. Whoops, that claw's broken now. But we're gonna tie on one of these guys, flip it around, and if they seem like they're too big for these bass, we're gonna go ahead and tie up on the gamblers, because those are the smallest like craws that I have currently. But I also just looked in my tackle bag and remembered I have some flukes as well. So the flukes could be pretty freaking good, but we're gonna go ahead, take one round with this little punching bait or Texas rig, flip her around, see if we can get anything, and if we don't, we're gonna come back and tie that tie those flukes on. But there we go. If this doesn't catch them, you know, I don't know what's gonna work here. Oh my goodness, freaking got him. Literally right in the grass mats. Little rat on the bandito bug literally came right in these grass mats right here. Just pitched it down in a hole. He came out and smoked that. We're gonna try a couple more of these little holes right here. See if we can get something to eat. That was crazy. It's like Florida. Pitching and punching. See if we can get one in here. Oh my gosh, another one. Haha. Oh my goodness. All right, so I think we found them. We're using a Guggen, what is that called? Oh, gosh, why can't I remember what that's called already? But we are literally just punching like a Florida mat with these things right there. Gosh, why? A bandito bug, there we go. Yeah, just literally dropping it right in this hole. And we're getting some. We're finally starting to get a couple fish with this thing. I almost didn't think we'd ever get it. Unfortunately, all these other holes are pretty like far reach. Maybe we'll go back over there really quick and see if we can get one or two out of there. But it's like we're ice fishing in the summertime. Just giving it a couple twitches. Nothing comes out of that one. We'll go over, try and find another one. Maybe this one right here. But it seems like most of these bass that we're catching today are in, you know, this sort of cover. I still think I'm gonna try on the fluke and give it one quick, you know, go around, just cause like it takes you know, maybe 20 minutes if you're casting every couple spots. So we'll go ahead, see if we can get one on the fluke or not, and then if not, we'll probably call it a day. I doubt that I'll pick back up the frog. Maybe I'll pick the frog back up, come on the pier, and then, you know, hit these mats up one more time. But it is so flipping hot right now. I doubt many more of these fish are going to want to eat. And it seems like we're kind of catching all the ones that are in these little pads over here. All right, you guys, last hope of the day. Got a pink fluke, or well, it's technically supposed to be white, but the sun bleached it pretty good. And we're basically just going to be throwing along, you know, just how we were the frog, seeing if we can get anything to eat, and then yeah, after that we're gonna call it a day. Oh my goodness, got him. Feels like it could be a new, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, it's definitely not a bad one. Woo, get up here, let's freaking go, let's go. Oh my goodness,
on the freaking pink fluke. All right, I'm gonna go set my phone up for you guys, see if we can get a better look at this. All right, you guys, I forgot my tripod in the car, but look at this guy. Not too shabby of a fish. I'd say it's probably like a pounder or a pound and a half, but we're gonna go ahead and give this guy a proper send-off. Woo! And there he goes. Let's go. All right, you guys, it feels so good to be back in the AC. But that was honestly a success. You know, there's not really a failure unless we didn't catch any fish, and in that case we didn't. We ended up catching our biggest bass and our only bass on the fluke, but again, it was the biggest one, and honestly a pretty surprised catch. I did not think that the fluke was going to be the one to catch it today. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we caught as many as we did on the topwater frog, especially with it being so warm and this pond being so shallow. You know, I would have thought these bigger fish would have been a little bit out deeper, kind of where those fountains were at. But anyway, it was a success. I'm happy that we got to come out here, fish this pond, and put together a nice little video for you guys. I'm gonna go home, edit it up, and hopefully have it up soon. But I want to thank all you guys for tagging along. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and like button. We are so close to that 1,000 goal, and I cannot wait to hit it with you guys. But again, thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.